Hey students, it's Mrs. T, and this is not so much a lesson video, but it's an announcement video about the lessons that we're going to do this week. Now, first of all, I hope that you noticed in course content, and I hope you saw my announcement that I sent out through email, that you have Project One open and available for you right now in course content. So it's in a folder all of its own after the week 2 folder. It opened last Saturday, and it's not due this week, it's due next week on Monday night, I think. So just make sure you check out that folder really before you start this week's work, because everything that you need to ace Project One should be in your notes from week 2. And if you hurried through the week 2 lectures and need to go back and review some of them, please open Project One and have a look to see what the questions are that I ask you to respond to on Project One. And you'll be able to see by looking at your notes whether you have holes in them or not, because everything that you need to answer Project One perfectly and get a 100%, 50 out of 50 points on that project, everything you need was delivered to you in lectures that I presented in the week 2 folder. So, I hope that you will stop this video now and maybe mark where you stopped and then come back to it after you have finished Project One, because the rest of this video is about the content of week 3. So we are officially in week 3 and we are moving to demographics and population as our topic for week 3. Now I want to bounce back to the videos that you watched about globalization and globalism in week 1, because that's the general theme of this class. So, throughout every single week, if I didn't mention the word globalism or globalization during my week 2 videos, it's not because it's not an underlying current of everything that we're talking about in this class. So these topics that we're going to discuss this week 3, these topics are tried and true, good old-fashioned, core foundational geography topics like demographics and population theories by famous old-timer, long-dead people like Thomas Malthus. One of the videos is about that. But it's really important that we look at demographics, which is understanding the qualities of and the categories and characteristics of large portions of the population, like certain age groups or your political affiliation or your religious affiliation or the territory where you live, like the North or the South. These kinds of things are demographic features about populations of people. And so these things are part of what geographers, one of the many topics that geographers focus on and draw people on maps. So you will see in chapter 2, which is what our reading assignment covers for this week and part of next. Chapter 2, you'll see a lot of maps kind of zoomed in on smaller regions or smaller places, locations like cities, all the Mr. Help themes of geography. And they'll ask questions like, why do certain people of this particular interest group or this particular racial category or age group, etc., like to or tend to congregate in one particular area? And so we'll have the why of where. But in this day of globalization, increasing globalization, or perhaps de-globalization, de-escalation at least, of the globalization process, we really need to talk about population increase and decrease, population control. It's going to be one of the topics that we look at in current events. I'm sorry if you hear something that sounds like a walrus behind me. Junior, the big dog, is talking to himself again. Pardon me if you hear that. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be looking in Project 2, which your notes for Project 2 start now. We're going to be looking at Project 2 about population and the projections of population in the future, and how something like an old-fashioned, or it seems like an old-fashioned theory like Thomas Malthus, something that maybe the Avengers series takes, puts it in the plot line, right, with Thanos trying to, destroy the world because of the population. The Earth can't handle it, that kind of thing. So these things come straight out of Thomas Malthus' theory. And so we're going to be looking at that. And so these notes are very, very important. At the beginning of this video, I told you to stop and go back to week 2, look at project 1 and look at week 2 to make sure that you took really good and thorough notes for week 2. But now I'm going to tell you, take really good and thorough notes for this week 3 and also week 4, because even though I'm not going to just like stack them back to back, project 1 and then we go right into project 2, you won't have to do it for another few weeks. You begin creating your notebook. You begin creating your own database, I guess you could say, of notes for you to refer to on project 2 when we do get it. And it'll be opened in a similar way that project 1 was open. You'll have 7 to 10 days to look at it, go back, rearrange your notes, and make sure that everything is very thorough so that you can ace that project 2, because I want you to be successful in this class. And so you have my number if you have any questions. But this video is an announcement video to kind of give you a way to set goals for yourself. I mentioned way back in the Start Here video when we were talking about the weekly assignments that sometimes people choose to skip the weeks where they're supposed to be working on projects. They might choose to skip a week doing reaction papers or quizzes. So for instance, if you already have a reaction paper or 2 under your belt, this is week 3, so there's a possibility of 2 that you might have completed already. You might want to decide to skip this particular week, put it off until the following week so that you can focus most of your study time on that project, and then pick right back up with the reaction paper and the quizzes next week, because you got to get 10 of those. And anyway, some people choose to manage their reaction papers in that way. You can certainly do a reaction paper and a quiz the same week that you're working on your project. That's completely up to you. I'm just offering you some suggestions. So even if you choose to skip the reaction paper this week or the quiz this week or both, you have to take really good notes on all of these lessons, because those notes that you take, that's what you're going to refer to the most, and your textbook almost equally, but kind of secondarily, you'll refer to your textbook to find and compile and compose the answers to questions that I ask you on these projects. So that's what I needed to tell you about week 3, and you've got my phone number, so please text me with questions. And also, I have redesigned my curriculum just a little bit, so if I have you watching a video, I might have you watching a video that says we're in like week 5 or something. No, we're in week 3. I've redesigned my curriculum just a little bit, and since I'm still experimenting with it just a tad, I haven't redone those videos yet to include to take out those weekly markers. That's what I'll probably end up doing. But so anyway, don't get confused if I happen to say that it's October or something. No, we're in February, and January and February, and you're doing right. You're in week 3. If it's linked in week 3, then you're on the right spot. Okay, so please text me if you have any questions. I'm here for you 24/7. Remember, I might not respond to you at 1:30 in the morning, but I will at 4:30 or 5:30 when I get up. So please don't be a stranger. You're not bothering me. I want you to contact me. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.